That intro. There's something about that just gets me right into nostalgia. I never had a PlayStation 1 as a kid, but I remember I would go over to my uncle's house, well, my grandmother's house, he lived there at the time, and he always let me play all of his game systems, and I always liked his PlayStation 1. And nowadays, it's actually one of my favorite systems to collect for. There's a lot of good games that you can get fairly cheap. So I figured, let's do a video of checking out a few games that you should check out. I was originally going to do a list of like my top 10 PS1 games, but you know what? I kind of don't like doing that. A little while ago, I made a top 10 NES games, and already there are things that I would like to change about it. I'm still collecting for all of my systems, so since then, I've gotten a lot of NES games that really deserve to be on that list instead. So instead of doing a favorite list, we're just going to take a look at some games that you should check out, 5 to be exact. These are in no particular order, even though most of these would probably make it onto a top 10 list. What am I saying? I'm not doing this. Let's take a look. So the first game that we're going to take a look at is actually one I got recently, and that is Castlevania Symphony of the Night. This is my first Castlevania game, and I'm really upset that I've never played another one. This game is not only probably the best PS1 game I've ever played, also just one of the best games I've played in general. It offers so much to do with non-linear gameplay and really tight controls. The game can be a little bit difficult, and I still haven't beaten it yet, but I'm definitely more than halfway through the game. If this is a game that you've always wanted to play, but just haven't yet, I highly recommend it. It only costs about $30 to $40, and with how much fun I've had with this game, it's well worth that price. You owe it to yourself to check this game out. Next up is a remake, sort of my favorite Atari 2600 game. Or I guess technically it would be an arcade game? I don't know. I like it on the Atari the most. And it's probably the game I'm best at on the Atari. However, this is not the greatest port of it. It moves kind of slow and isn't that difficult. But if you don't have an Atari and you're looking for a way to play Missile Command, this isn't a half bad way to do it. In fact, if you have a PS1, I bought this game for $3. So if you have the money and you're interested in arcade games, this is one that you should check out. Just don't expect too much out of it. Next up is a simply fantastic game. It's called All-Star Slammin' D-Ball. It's basically just a dodgeball game. And I actually bought this and it sat on my shelf for months until I had a friend over and we decided to play it. And it is probably one of the best PS1 games that I own. This game is loads of fun with multiple teams that all have different attributes. And I remember that we played it for probably an hour and a half. There's a lot to remember as well. The controls are pretty complex with being able to throw the ball high or being able to throw it low, along with a slew of powerful attacks that you build up after catching the ball so many times. This game is a blast to play and is one that I recommend that everyone should try. It is very common and you can usually find it for about $5 to $6. So if you're looking for a great game on your PS1, definitely check this one out. Now here's one that I actually remember playing as a kid. I don't remember if it was this exact port, but Rampage is one of the first games that I can remember playing. I remember when I got this, my little brother Evan and I started to play it, and we were there for probably 2 hours just playing this game because it's so much fun. You can play as different monsters and destroy several cities and just rack up points and have a great time. This game isn't too difficult, but I think that's the fun of it because you really feel powerful as these monsters. This is another game that you can find fairly cheap, and if you find it, just check it out. It's a load of fun. Last but certainly not least is Star Wars Dark Forces.
There are several terrible Star Wars games on the PlayStation 1, such as Jedi Power Battles, Phantom Menace, Star Wars Demolition, Masters of Teräs Käsi, which I actually kind of like that one. But Dark Forces is a fantastic game. This is another one that I played heavily as a kid and have very fond memories of. It plays very similar to Doom, I guess. It's just an early first-person shooter. But you get to use Star Wars guns like the E11, which, how can you go wrong with that? This is probably one of my favorite Star Wars games of all time, mostly because you get to play as Kyle Katarn, who is awesome. He's also the main protagonist in Jedi Outcast, and he even makes appearances in Jedi Academy, and he better be in Rogue One or I'm gonna lose it. This is a game I don't see very often, but when I do, it never goes for more than $10. So if you like Star Wars, which you should, because it's the best, check this game out.
So there you have it, just a few games that you should check out if you're getting into PlayStation 1 collecting, or if they're just games that you haven't gotten for your PlayStation 1 yet. Let me know what you think of this style of video, because I'm a relatively new collector and I kind of like making videos of games that I really like checking out my first time around, and I think you guys should too. I would like to do more of these for some other consoles once I get a substantial amount of games for most of them. Unfortunately, some of my game collections aren't too great, like the 2 games I have on Sega Saturn. But anyway, like always, thank you so much for watching. I said in my Let's Play Rocket Knight Adventures video that I was going to Comic-Con and I also might be going to Too Many Games, which is in Oaks, Pennsylvania, which it turns out I am this Saturday. So I doubt any of you 63 subscribers are going to that, but if you are, I'll be there, and Evan the cameraman will be there as well. I did take some footage of it last year, but not enough to really make a video on it, so hopefully this year I can get enough coverage to make a decent video on it. And of course, I'll be making a pickups video from it, which I'm really excited for. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.